What's going on, Facebook and YouTube Live? Welcome to this episode of On Another Line Live. Tonight we're going to be talking about some general knowledge fishing. I'm going to ask you guys some questions. I want to get your guys' feedback on. We're going to talk about how I'm going to plan on breaking down lakes as we go on. I've done shows on this past, and I saw somebody the other day tag it as when you can't pre-fish, e-fish, which we're going to talk about e-fishing tonight and give you some ideas about that. Talk about how I'm planning on producing more content this year. But without further ado, guys, right after this short intro, we're going to get into it. Stick around. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this evening. You don't want to miss it.
Gotta get your arms way up in a cast and set the hook on smallmouth bass, and then you'll understand. Gotta get your hands on a Shimano reel and a G-Loomis round. I bet you like what you feel. Step on the deck and give it a whirl. Hello, welcome to my world.
All right, we are back, ladies and gents. Again, Facebook and YouTube Live. I'm trying to copy a link here really quick. I'm going to see if I can do this. I'm not sure that I can. Guess not. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to copy this link right here. I'm going to post it, and I'm going to, don't worry about those ones. Matter of fact, I'm going to delete those. Those things are, I didn't want to do that. I want to delete that. Apparently, I can't do that from here. I can on the Facebook side of things, but on YouTube, just don't worry about that one. I'm going to post a new thing here, and I'm going to I'm going to try to pin it if I can. There it is. I should be able to pin this thing. So I posted a link in the comments below. Those of you guys know that I obviously I produce a lot of content on YouTube and stuff, but every year I submit a video through the YOLOTech Video of the Year contest. Last year I was lucky enough to win it thanks to you guys out there, and it is that time of year again. So if you guys won't care to hit those links in the comments below, you can do it right now. I don't care if you go out there and do it. I'll give you guys a few minutes to do that before we get into tonight's episode, talking about just some general fishing knowledge stuff. But again, I do have the ability to win about $500 in YOLOTech products out there. So in order to bring you guys the best footage as possible, I rely on a lot of YOLOTech stuff. So if you go out there, and it's easy, there's 3 different ways that you can vote. You can vote 3 different times. You can vote once on Facebook, once on Instagram, once on TikTok, I believe. But that link down there will take you to it. Again, my video is number 13. Only thing you have to do is in the comment section of those actual links, just comment that video 13 is the best. And again, they will, it's up to you guys to figure out who wins that thing. So if you guys would care to go out there and hit that really quick and comment on those and then come on back, I'd appreciate it. Feel free to share those things, get the words out. I'd appreciate it. Again, if you can help me win some more gear, it would help me produce a lot better content. So it's out there. And if you don't want to do it, that's totally okay. I get it, but it's out there. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Got them Wayne boys in the house. Appreciate it. Just like always, for the last month or so, this episode of On Another Line brought to you by Tackle Box in South Point, Ohio. Just a really quick deal. The open house is coming up very soon, in about a month from here. It is going to be, let me make sure I get these dates correct. It is going to be the 11th and 12th of February, which is going to be the second Saturday and Sunday of the month. Again, I've been talking to you guys about it, but I'm telling you what, if you don't come to the Tackle Box at all, or if you're close and you would like to come and check it out, that is the weekend to do it. I personally know that the G-Loomis NRX Plus are going to be on sale for an extraordinary price. When I tell you, you're never going to find an NRX price at this low of a point ever again in your life, I'm telling you, I'm begging and pleading you, if you want an NRX Plus, come and see me at the Tackle Box in South Point, Ohio. Again, just to make sure that it is correct. Again, the 11th and 12th. The 11th is a Saturday. The 12th is Sunday. But I promise you, if you're looking or you've been looking at an NRX Plus from G Loomis, but you don't want to spend that, which, by the way, guys, that NRX Plus just went up $50 at the first of the year. They used to be like $600. Now they're $650, $675. I'm telling you, you're going to be getting these things for almost used rod prices, if not lower than that. And they're all brand new. He has over 140 of them in stock. The spinning reels, he's got a ton of spinning rods, in stock. But I'm going to tell you what, the NRX Plus spinning rod side of things go quicker than anything. If you're looking for something for your co-angler husband or wife out there and you really want to splurge on them, the 822 drop shot rod, 822 shaky head rod. There's going to be so many good rods up there. And if you're not a Loomis and Shimano fan, he has pretty much everything else covered. But again, you're not going to find better deals anywhere in the United States, in my opinion, on those NRX rods. You're going to be saving a lot of money. He usually does some stuff on Megabass jerkbaits. Usually does some really good prices on Yamamoto Senkos. Usually some really good prices on chatterbaits. His spinner baits are second to none, in my opinion. Again, come and see us. That's the 11th or the 12th and 13th of February. That's the second week of February. We'll get your hands on anything that you want. I guarantee he's probably going to have it in stock. What's up, Larry Slack? Slack, what's up, buddy? I'm still waiting on our sunglasses, man. They were shipped last week. I hope they didn't get shipped to my other address. I'm going to reach out to Mandy tomorrow to try to get those things, but they'll be in, I'm hoping, this week. Hey, Fred, I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. So let's talk a little bit about fishing. I've been, I'm trying to build a following on TikTok here lately, and it's crazy that this past weekend, so just to give you guys a lowdown, I'm sure you guys have heard me, and probably tired of me talking about it, but I had the opportunity to open up for the legendary Clay Walker. I'm a musician, I'm a teacher, I'm a fisherman. I have a lot of irons and a lot of different fires, but this past weekend was undoubtedly the biggest gig I'd ever landed in my entire life. We opened up for Clay Walker at the Paramount Arts Center, which, let me tell you, and I'm not saying this lightly, that was easily in the top 3 days of my life. It was a phenomenal experience. I had so many friends and family there. There was 1,400. It was a sold-out show. And again, I'm not saying that was because of me. I got the opportunity to play the sold-out show because Clay Walker is a bad mofo. Let's forget it. Let's think about it. That dude is awesome. 90s country star. Had an awesome time. The Paramount Arts Center is bucket list for me. It's always been where I'd want to play, and I did get the opportunity to play in front of Clay Walker the other day and share the same stage, which was an amazing experience. But above and beyond that, I got to meet some new people in the area that I didn't know, which is great. It was just a humbling experience. It was a really good deal. I'm hoping that's not going to be the last time you see me at the Paramount, and I'm hoping that it kind of opens some doors. But that was an amazing, amazing, amazing time. It was so good. But I'm trying to build a following on TikTok. I said that to say this is now I'm getting a few followers on there because of my music stuff, because I posted like a look into the behind the scenes thing with sound check and us playing a song and all that stuff. Which, by the way, if you guys have seen that video, that we featured a song called Another Line, which used to be my theme song on this page. And I went away from that because we weren't able to pay royalties to the guy who wrote the song through our YouTube videos. His name is Lance Carpenter, extremely good guy. So I wrote My World, and we're using My World now, or I'm using My World. Above and beyond that, but Lance Carpenter wrote a song called Another Line. It's out there on Instagram, or it's out on pretty much any streaming site or iTunes, stuff like that. But I am actually going to work on cutting that song over this summer. But on TikTok, I saw something the other day that really sparked my interest, and I want to get your guys' opinion on it. So this guy went on to say, do you feel like you can beat any pro on your home lake? And I have to break that down. My home lake is either Grayson or Yatesville or the Ohio River. if I had to choose one of those, I would definitely choose Grayson Lake. I feel like I can go out there and catch keepers more often than not. I feel like you can catch keepers on the river too, no matter where you're at. It depends on how big the tournament is because there's only so many community holes. I know that there's keeper fish in Yatesville, but if I were to choose, if somebody said you pick a lake, you're going to go try to beat this pro, it would have to be Grayson. And I had to think about it. And could I beat? First off, he says any pro. My answer to that is absolutely not. Any pro, that's like taking 200 of the best anglers and putting them on Grayson. Could I beat them? No. Do I even think that I could beat any pro? Like, I get to choose a pro, and I would fish against them at Grayson Lake, and I think I could beat them. The answer is absolutely not. These guys get paid for a living to do this. If I was that good, the simple fact of the matter is I would be right there with them, right? I don't have the time and the effort that it takes to become a pro angler. You guys heard me talking about it the other day when we had Ryan Salzman on, and I think G-Man hit it on the head, even though it pissed me off back in the day when I heard about it. He said, you're either a content creator or you're a professional fisherman. You can't do both. And I thought to myself 10 years ago, I was like, you know what? I'm going to show you wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong. And the older I get and the more that I see both sides of things, he's 100% right, because the amount of time that it takes to become a professional angler is astronomical. And the amount of time that it takes to become a content creator that has a large following on any social media platform is astronomical as well. So there's just not enough time in a day for you to do both. So you look at some people like Jacob Wheeler and places like that, and people like that actually have this great following all the way around, is they have people producing that stuff for them. So can you be successful at both? Sure, but you have to have people on your side when that happens. And that's one of the things, as far as with me creating content every year and creating fishing content, is one of the things that I lack is having a partner and somebody that can help me film videos and run the camera and things like that. So if you look at, the Tactical Bassin guys, they are, two guys, and they just go out and they are living the dream, but they have multiple people working for them, but they also have each other. So if one guy's shooting a video, the other guy's running the camera, and vice versa. It takes a lot of time to do that. So I, again, have given myself a really hardcore deadline by the end of 2023 fishing season. If I don't have 6,000 subscribers on YouTube, I'm going to pull back from the YouTube creation side of things, and I'm just going to fish for fun. I enjoy the heck out of fishing. I would much rather go out and fish some club tournaments and film the stuff that I'm going to be filming anyway, guys. I enjoy the chase of trying to catch fish. I also, being a teacher by trade, enjoy having that little bit of knowledge. What little bit that I have is trying to give that to people to better their knowledge. I'm also constantly asking people that I know are better fishermen than me what they would do. What kind of rods are they using? What kind of reels are they using? What kind of techniques are they looking at? Drew Sadler is somebody I look up to. He's my Shimano rep. He works for Sportco Marketing. But the dude absolutely is a hammer. I feel like that he could catch him in a mud hole with a freaking rubber band. He just absolutely can catch him. So it's people like that that I look up to, and I'm constantly trying to get my knowledge better. So my question to you is, if you could choose one angler on the planet to put in your body of water that you feel like you have a chance to beat, where would you fish? Who would you fish against? This could be living, dead, could be somebody new, upcoming. It could be someone that we've never heard of. Drop a comment below where you would fish, who you would fish against. I don't know, man. I think that I would want to put myself up against the best of the best. I'm talking like KVD, Jacob Wheeler is in that mix. Defoe, these people that I really look up to, because the reason that I would want to go up against somebody that I know is an absolute hammer is I want to put my skills up against them any given day. Now, am I going to have an advantage? Who knows? They're going to have way better equipment than I have. They're going to have way better electronics. Their boat's going to be a lot nicer. I have the, I guess I have the best thing about knowing a little bit about Grayson. I'm just now learning it. I've been fishing there for about 15 years, but I'm really just now started to break down Grayson Lake as a whole. But I feel like that I would want to try to fish against somebody as good as, again, the Jacob Wheelers out there, the KVDs, because I just want to see where my skills stack up against the best of the best. I look at, so Jacob Wheeler has actually been in our area fishing Yatesville Lake with, let's see, he fished a Trail of Dreams tournament, I believe, with Whitney Stevens about 7-8 years ago. And there was 100 and some boats at Yatesville. And I'll give you one guess who won it. That must have been what you're talking about, Nate. That was probably that same tournament. Brandon Polinick. That's what I'm talking about, man. You guys say that Papo don't want no part of it. That's classic, man. That's good stuff. So Brandon Polinick is another person that has a great YouTube and social media content creation thing, but I'm pretty sure he has an actual production company that does his stuff as well. I don't know. Again, I'm not saying that I can beat anybody. Shoot, I can't even beat the locals around here, let alone a pro. But this guy on TikTok, it caused a big giant uproar and it was shared thousands of times, had 1 million views on it. Do you think you can beat any, he says, any pro on your home lake? Now, again, any pro, no. Do I even think I can beat a pro? No. Do I think I can beat half the semi-pros around here? No. But if I did get the opportunity to fish against one person on my home body of lake, whichever one I choose, whether that be the Ohio River, Grayson, or Yatesville, who would I choose? Again, I think I would choose someone like Jacob Wheeler. And it's not because I think I can beat him, because that joker is going to make me look like a fool. No doubt. There is no doubt. That guy could just absolutely whack him. But I would just like to see what it's like. I guess to get my rear end whipped by somebody who's going to do it. You know, there's no doubt about it. I'm definitely not a pro. I don't claim to be. Again, I like to talk fishing. I like to create content when I'm out there on the water. But I think it'll be fun. Matter of fact, Jared Caesar there, when I went out and bought that 15-inch graph from him the other day, he had a really good idea of like a pros versus Joes YouTube show or YouTube channel, which I thought was a classic idea. There's a couple of things that goes wrong with that. Is one, you can get all the Joes you want to fish because everybody likes to fish on the weekends or whatever. Now, how do you get the pros involved? Well, the pros get involved with money. So then it comes sponsorships, and then it comes everything else, and then it's you're going to them because they're so busy and all that stuff. So I just don't know if that works out. But I was thinking, I know enough of these really, really premium YouTube content creators, like I'm just getting to know and trying to get the Tactical Basking fellas on the show. But Tyler Anderson from Tyler's Real Fishing, Gene Jensen, Fluke Master. There's just so many of these really high-end content creators that I thought it would be really cool to create a content series where it's YouTube pros versus Joes, because those YouTube guys are out there creating content anyway. Right. So can you beat a YouTube pro, you know, somebody that's a pro content creator? Can you beat them on the water in your local lakes? I thought that would be a pretty cool deal. G-Man at Grayson. I think that's a pretty good bet. I love watching G-Man. He leaves it all on the water. I think it's funny. I think the biggest thing about G-Man is that his personality never changes, and that's really big for me. I really like that he does those like behind the scenes thing where he's talking about, like, I read one about, you know, a lady talking about he bought somebody a biscuit or something at a store one time, and they were like, you know, it was just crazy. Like, I like the behind the scenes things where, like, I think he had a story about a kid who come up and gave him $20 one time and said that he, you know, his grandpa always told him that if, you know, what he believed in or whatever, he should give money to, and what he liked to. So he ended up giving it to G-Man, and, you know, it was a really cool story, and I like that aspect of it. I like the vlogging style of his life. I really like that a lot. But I can get down with that. I can fish against G-Man out at Grayson. Expertise is throwing a frog, probably Bobby Lane, maybe. Could be true, man. I don't know. He was fishing with another hammer. Let's face it. Whitney Stevens is a freaking hammer. So it doesn't matter. When you get those two guys together, you're going to have your hands full. But I'd like to go to Grayson one time and fish against him. One thing that he has on me fishing new lakes like that is they do it so daggone often with the MLF. They go there, no practice, no nothing, and they fish. Now I think they're starting to be able to pre-fish and stuff and practice. But back in the day when MLF was just I personally liked MLF better when it was those cup series where it wasn't an actual fishing series. It was almost like, what is it? Where I can't remember the name of that channel or that thing that the guy from Ohio was the MC of it, where Ultimate Match Fishing. I had Joe, what's his name, that was on Steel Reeling Outdoors or whatever. But anyway, those, I liked it better when it was just those guys and they show up at a lake and they would fish, and then best man wins on those lakes. And that's another thing he would have my advantage or on his advantage is that he's used to showing up to places like that and having to find them out. Dean Rojas, that's it. Hey Michael, yeah, man, I appreciate it. It was amazing. It was crazy. Again, I posted a video out on my TikTok. Go check it out of a song that we covered from another guy. It's really great. That's it, Joe Thomas. So first and foremost, if you're just now joining me, guys, I have a couple of comments starred there at the top. Actually, I don't know that they are stored at the top. I'm going to post it again here in the comments. If you guys haven't done it already, what's up, Mr. Tennessee Bassmaster? I have posted a link down there in the YouTube and Facebook comments. If you haven't already, I would appreciate if you guys would help me win a contest with the YOLOTech crew. Again, I was picked in the top 10 of the video of the year for edited. I was also picked in the top 10 for the video of the year raw, but I didn't do much promotion there, so I'd appreciate if you guys help me out. Again, one thing you have to do is you can click on that link, and there's like YouTube videos. You can also go to Instagram, and you also go to TikTok for it's YOLOTech, and just comment video 13 is the best. I would appreciate it. The more votes I get, the better chance I have winning. Again, $500 worth of YOLOTech gear would be great in my arsenal. But again, if you don't want to, it's no big deal. I'm no pressure. Not going to follow you to the store or anything like that because that would be really weird. Now, let's talk about some wintertime bass techniques that I've actually been doing lately and having some success. I rarely fish the wintertime just for the simple fact is I'm a pansy. Guys, let's face it. I don't like going out there and get cold. Matter of fact, I had yesterday off. I should have went fishing. You know what I did? I didn't go fishing because I walked outside. It was 45 degrees, and I was like, yep, I'm going fishing. And I started hooking my boat up, and the wind was about to rip the tops of the trees out. I was like, I am not dealing with 20-mile-an-hour winds and 45-degree temperature. If it was calm, I was going to go fishing. Got a hair on my hat. But, I just don't fish that much in the wintertime. However, I'm trying to learn the blade bait series, and I've caught some technique, and I've caught some fish on blade baits over the last few months. But I have found a jig that has been producing consistently at Grayson. And again, you guys have heard me talk about it. I have zero affiliation with the company. I had Jesse French, that was the owner of Blue Rock Custom Tackle on the other day. He has a jig that I have been absolutely wearing him out at Grayson. When I say wearing him out, I'm not catching 20 a day. But every time I've went out in the last 3 trips, I've thrown the triple threat jig in black. I think it's called Blackout on there. But if I've been throwing that little thing and I've been putting a small net bait, the Paca Slim, I've been cutting it down almost in a third and threading that thing on there. And I've been catching keepers consistently in cold water. Last time I was out there, we were live scoping fish in my buddy J.R. White's boat. He has live scope, and we were looking at it, and I was really impressed with it. I cannot wait until Humminbird makes an update with their the Mega Live stuff. The forward-facing sonar, guys, is a game changer. If you never had anything to deal with it, I promise you I'll have one. I did order a 360 transducer the other day from the tackle box. When it comes in, I'll be installing it on my boat. And eventually, I'm going to get the Mega Live forward-facing sonar. I don't feel like Humminbird's technology is anywhere close to even Lowrance's at this point, which is nowhere close to even being a Garmin's. The reason that I'm hoping that Humminbird stuff actually, gets a boost in the next update as far as the quality of it is because I don't want to have multiple brands of graphs on my boat. I want them all to link together. I want to be able to see all the transducers from all of the head units. And I want it to be, because I have two 15-inch Solix on my boat right now, and I did that for that sole reason. It's all good, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for the... So I'm with you, Aaron. I do believe that's right. And I think that Garmin is number one, Lowrance is number two. And then, Humminbird, I don't even think that the Mega Live even comes in third. Like, I know there's nobody else that creates it there, but I just don't feel like the quality is there for Mega Live yet. Will it be? Man, I hope so. I've never used the Mega Live, or I've never used the Panoptix Plus from Garmin, but I hear it's a lot, it's really good. But again, I just hate the fact of having a third unit on my boat, or that is different than the rest of them because they won't network. And, I get that the reason that you're using the Garmin is for Panoptix and for, live scope and all that stuff. But I just hope that Humminbird makes a transition into having more of, a market share there because they don't have any of it. They're just getting their rear ends whipped. However, I don't feel like that there's any companies with electronics out there that have the entire market wrapped up on every single thing. I feel like that Humminbird has the best down scan and side scan imaging in the market. And I think the 360 added to that is huge. I think the 360 transducer, especially the way I fish, is crazy good. If I can break down the water and see stumps and see stuff that I can pitch at and throw at and have my bait in better water more often, then that's going to allow me to catch more fish. Because if it's a stump sticking out of the water, you and every other angler on that freaking lake is throwing what you're throwing at that stump. But if you cannot see it, things are a little different. For example, if I was talking about I found a bridge, actually two of them, in Yatesville Lake that I didn't know was there. It's in 40 foot of water, and I've literally went over this bridge probably 1,000 times. No clue it was there. I fished around it. I've probably hung up 25 jigs on this thing, thinking it was a brush pile. Nope, giant bridge. So it allows me to find things, but I think the 360 thing is a big deal. I do think Panoptix is the market shareholder of the forward-facing sonar right now. And I think that Lowrance probably has the mapping side of things down better than anything. So I don't think that there's one company that has everything wrapped up. But I think that kind of comes with the territory. You have somebody like, if one person had all of the market share for all the for all the electronics, the rest of them would be out of business. So am I thinking it's a business strategy between them? No. But I do believe that there's only so much marketing budget and how much research and development that you can supply for your company to make something new. You can't. There's no unlimited funds there. Even though these are giant companies, I just don't feel like that's the case. Yeah, so I don't own any Garmin stuff, but that's a very good question or a very good thing. Some of the head units do not support LiveScope. Me too, Michael. I'm hoping that Mega Live 2 or whatever they call it is a game changer. They know now that how big of an aspect or game player that the forward-facing sonar is compared to the rest of the stuff, they have to spend some money on research and development and actually making this thing better. I do like the target lock system. I really like that. However, it is extremely expensive, man. I'm telling you what, if you buy it right now in target lock, what I'm talking about is basically a motorized pole that is attached to your trolling motor. There's two buttons, kind of like power pole buttons on your deck. You press one, and the live scope, well, in this case, Mega Live transducer you can put anything on there, I guess. Not only Mega Live, you can do Panoptics, you can do Live Target or Active Target, whatever it's called. And it will allow you to move like if you have an Ultrex, which I do not, but if you have an Ultrex and you're like at Lake St. Clair and you're on this rock pile and you want to make sure that you can cast to that rock pile and see if there's fish on there, you can spot lock your trolling motor and keep your boat within that vicinity of that spot and have that live target, or you can have your Mega Live or whatever pointing to something, and your trolling motor can be spinning in all directions, which is a game changer. However, it's all about how much money do you want to throw at something. For example, let's look at the setup that I have on my deck of my boat. I have a Solix 15 that's a Gen 3. They're about $3,500 to $3,700 depending on where you buy them at and where you get them. So that's almost $4,000. Well, now you're like, okay, well, what about a trolling motor? Ultrex is like over $3,000, I think. Let me make sure that I'm checking that out. I want to make sure. It's about right at, hey, I mean, shoot, some of them are $3,500. So if you have the Mega Down imaging and the side imaging transducers in there, they're about $3,500. It looks like from Bass Pro. So that's $7,500 just for the trolling motor and that 15-inch Solix. $1,200 for a 360. That's $9,000. And then the Mega or the Mega Live is another $1,000. There's $10,000. That's $10,000, guys. That is 4 zeros. $10,000 in one setup for the front of your boat to catch a green or brown fish. That is astronomical, in my opinion. Am I going to buy it? Well, I guess if I want to be competitive, right? Because you're definitely at a disadvantage if you don't. I'm in a situation where my boat's paid off. So I've been putting my boat payment towards electronics, which, I'm hoping my boat lasts several years. I'll get it set up the way I want it. But, I'm hoping that the Mega Live 2 or the new update is better than it is now, because I don't feel like it's even in a close third, and there's only really 3 of them on the market. Yeah, we were talking about the other day. So I guess it just allows you to see depth between where fish are at in the water column with the LiveScope Plus. I guess I'll have to get with Jacob Crappy. I'm pretty sure he just got a brand new LiveScope Plus set up. Go out and do some fishing and check it out. Do I think forward-facing sonar is a game changer? Absolutely. Matter of fact, me and Jared was out there fishing at Grayson the other day, live scoped some fish, and ended up catching 2 of them because we saw the fish that were there. If you're not seeing the fish, you can catch them, but is it luck? Probably. You're throwing for high percentage spots, like stuff that you can see. If you have a 360, it is a game changer. You can see stuff under the water that most people are not casting to, which is going to give you an advantage. But if you can look on 360 and you can see a stump, and then you could take your forward-facing sonar, whether that be Garmin or Lowrance or Humminbird, what have you, if you can point that to that structure and physically see a fish swimming or not on that stump, you cannot tell me that that is not a huge advantage. Again, I get it. It is stupid expensive. I'm at a situation right now in my life. I'm 38 years old. I don't make a ton of money. I do make a little bit on YouTube, and I'm hoping to, up that this year. I spend every dollar that I make on YouTube on fishing equipment, whether that be new rods, reels, the stuff to show you guys, whether that's, gas money to get places, fishing license, you name it. So that's where some of that money comes from. But it just blows my mind that we're in a situation where technology now is more important than I can't say skill. You have to have skill to catch fish, but I think it levels the playing field for everybody if you have those technologies. Now, I also have seen a lot of comments and stuff lately on the comment or on the topic. Should there be electronics bans in tournaments? I don't think so. I think if you can afford it, you can fish it. But I do like the idea of having no electronic tournaments where you go and you fish. But the only problem with that is that if you did that, you would have to make sure that nobody had any of that stuff on their boat. It would have to be like 10 rigs. And most of the time, guys, 10 rigs are, they're souped up more than the fiberglass stuff, because let's face it, you don't have a ton of money in a 10 rig probably. Well, unless you have a new 10 rig. I'm just talking about like an old flat bottom, low deal. It's just one of those. I think it's an interesting idea, but I don't know who buys into that. So I said, I don't feel like that I don't think there's one company that has anything wrapped up. Yeah, Nate, I didn't want to call you out, but I remember that's what I said. Most people with their 10 rigs, especially, a lot of people have a lot better stuff on their 10 rigs than, other stuff. I will say, though, that the Gen 3 Solix that I have on my boat are absolutely phenomenal. Side down scan imaging, they are absolutely the berries. Again, I do have the 360 transducer on the way. Another thing to think about if you're getting, if you have Humminbird stuff and you want to get a 360 transducer, that they are trolling motor specific. There is one for the Fortrex and one for the Ultrex, or there is a universal mount that you can basically mount to pretty much any one you want. Again, so I've contacted Humminbird to make sure this is true before I've done this, but they say that you can take the 360 transducer off of the mount for the Fortrex and then mount it onto the mount for the Ultrex, and it'll work just fine. You have to buy the mount for both, but it would work. Oh yeah, the John boat tourney, and I'm with you, man. Dangerous without mapping. I just now obviously have the ability to do some really cool mapping stuff with the new birds, but I always run my phone using Navionics or somewhere, especially on lakes that I do not know. I am super lucky that I was with Drew Sadler down on Cherokee last winter, because there is no doubt in my mind I would have tore my boat to smithereens, man. He runs Lowrance stuff, and he had the map card for that stuff, and I tell you what, Cherokee Lake in Winterpool is dangerous, man. It's almost as dangerous, in my opinion, as Chickamauga. There's so many river channels. There's so many humps and hidden islands and stuff that are only like 2 foot under the water. And it is amazing how much you can actually screw up on a lake like that without mapping. So I do believe that you're right when it comes to that. So how do you make a happy medium? How do you have, is it a gentleman's agreement? Do you just take people's word? How do you know if somebody don't get out there and just fire up the old 360? You know what I mean? Like if they have it and they're, if you paid if you had $15,000 worth of graphs on your boat and you couldn't use them on a tournament, do you think I'm going to go fish them? No, because that's the reason I bought those things. However, if you have people that are set against that and they don't have electronics and they would like to fish non-electronics tournaments, I do feel like there's a market for that, but I don't know how big the market is. How many people actually want to fish those? Is it just a complaining point that people that don't think they can afford that stuff or don't want to put the effort into trying to buy them or don't see the value in it? Is it just something that they can complain about because they're not catching fish? Or is it because they think that these technologies make them an inadequate fisherman? Guys, I've went out to my local lakes, Yatesville, Grayson, the Ohio River, and I've got my rear end, I mean, just smoked by people in just an old 1970s bass boat that's got like a flasher on the dash that works about three quarters of the time. They're running like one of those old white Minn Kotas that have like the little U-shaped handlebar where they're actually hand turning this thing, throwing Zebco 33s, and they come in with like 12 pound on the river and just absolutely smoke you. I do believe that there's people out there that I don't care if you put $100,000 worth of stuff on their boat, they're still going to probably not use them and still probably going to catch fish. There are some people, likewise, that if they didn't have the ability to use that technology, I don't think that they're as competitive as they are. And I do think that with the MLF changes it this year, you're going to see the Jacob Wheelers and these people that catch 100 bass that are 2 pounds are going to, the leaderboard is going to change up a little bit, because I think this falls into places like KVD's. I think this is his wheelhouse. I do believe, not that he probably is not the only person that they're changing this stuff for, but you got to know that KVD has not been as big on the scene as he has been in the last 10 years because of the fact that these guys like Jacob Wheeler, who are really good at breaking down lakes, they're really good at using electronics, they are just hammer fishermen, but they're going out and they're finding these mega schools of 2 pounders and they're catching 50 a day, and they have 100 pounds in the live well, or in the live well on their score tracker. Now this year, other than a couple of tournaments, MLF has went to 5 biggest bass for the whole tournament. They're still catch weigh release just like any other time, but their live well or their weight is determined by the 5 biggest bass they catch all day. Now I think that changes people's stuff. We talked about it with Salzman the other day. I feel like that the people that go out looking for these giant mega schools of 2 pounders, and it really made a big difference for them in the actual grand scheme of things, I think that they are going to have a harder time competing at that level for that format, because I feel like that with KVD, let's just use him for example, or Bobby Lane, or these guys that are just absolutely known for catching hammer fish all the time, even Dean Rojas or people like that. There's just so many people that are big fish fishermen. And they may go out and fish for 5 bites a day, but when they come in, they got 30 pounds. Now, 30 pounds, when you're talking about somebody who catches 100 pounds a day like Jacob Wheeler, that's minuscule. But when you think about having to only weigh 5 fish for the day, that changes my game plan as an angler. And I guarantee you it's going to change the MLF, how it shakes down. I think it's a really good thing. However, I don't think that it's fair to everybody. Again, I just don't think it is. And I don't think you can make everything fair for everybody. I'm not complaining about their thing. I think they have a good thing going. But I do think the 5 bass limit for those things actually changes the way that those people are fishing. I do think you're going to see some people that have not been relevant in the last 5 years being relevant again. Again, KVDs, people like that are known hammers that fits their style better with 5 big fish as opposed to 100 2 pounders. I think you're going to see that. Hey, Tina, thanks for joining in. Appreciate you coming this weekend. Also, guys, quick word or quick announcement. Just to give Brandon and the guys out there at Lewis County Lunkers, if you guys are interested in getting your hands on you're getting in a local tournament series, check out the Lewis County Lunkers. There's several in this area, guys. You have Lawrence County here in Ohio. They're a bunch of hammers. They're great guys. Definitely check those out too. Pedro Bass Club, and again, something that I fish when I have the opportunity is the Lewis County Lunkers. You can go check them out on Facebook. And again, they're fishing several really cool places. They're, again, you guys are not going to be able to see this really well, but they're opening their stuff back up at March 4th and 5th on a 2-day tournament here at Grayson. And again, you guys are not going to be able to read this. Go over there and check that out. Grayson, Carnico, Vanceburg, Grayson, Fox Valley, Kincaid, there's Dewey. There's a lot of different places in and around the area. If you are interested in getting, with a bunch of good guys and fishing a really competitive club, definitely the way to go. Again, so Membership fees, the dues for the club is $25 for 17 and up, $15 from ages 10 to 16, free ages 9 and below. So $25 to fish per tournament. So it's $20 per boat goes to the winner's pot. $5 goes to the club every tournament. But the cool thing about this is that they do something different than I've ever seen any club or any tournament series do, is that you can fish 3 people out of a boat max, which I think is really cool. For some of your buddies, if you guys want to get together and do some fishing, you can do that. You can fish up to 3 out of a boat. You basically, it's just a fun time, and it's a good deal. I enjoy fishing. And again, go over and check out Lewis County Lunkers on Facebook. You will not regret it. There he is, man. The man, the myth, the legend. Yeah, like I said, I have a great time fishing with those guys. So they're the most down-to-earth people you ever meet. And they enjoy having fun, and they can catch them. So it's a pretty good deal. I ended up winning a tournament that they had, an open tournament out there on New Year's Day. So that was it's all downhill from here. When you win the first tournament of the year on the first day of the year, it can't get any better, I don't think. But I think I told you guys last time I was live, but Kyle and I are fishing the Ohio Bass Nation Team Tournament Trail. I think that consists of Grand Lake St. Mary's, Indian Lake, and 2 Lake Erie tournaments. I am not looking forward to Grand Lake St. Mary's, and I'm definitely not looking forward to Indian Lake. I absolutely hate those lakes with a passion. Grand Lake St. Mary's is a big, giant mud bowl. Fish are caught in the canals. If you're not in the canals, you're not catching them. It ends up fishing like a merry-go-round. You're boat to boat, bumper to bumper. The canals are packed. And it gets beat up. I hate that lake. Indian Lake is even worse, in my opinion, especially in the last year and a half, 2 years, because Indian Lake is absolutely chock full of grass. And you think grass is great. Well, it is great, but I'm telling you, 95% of this entire lake has grass to the surface of the lake. Now think about trying to find 5 fish in that. It's tough. Also, boats are overheating. It's getting sucked up in lower units. They had some kind of ban on boating for a while last year. They had some kind of like cultivators in there harvesting that stuff and getting rid of that. But if it is not any better this year, the fishing it has to explode on that lake, because you absolutely have to be the most lucky angler on the planet to find fish, because you're literally pitching grass and punching grass all daggone day without any use of knowing where they're at, because your electronics are not going to work. Trolling motors are getting chewed up with grass another 5 minutes. Most people are back in the animal sanctuary, back in there, and they're pitching and flipping those pads, because that's the only place you can get a bait in and not have to have a ton of grass on your baits and stuff. So it just gets, again, merry-go-round. But we are, putting all of our eggs in one basket. I may try to fish the Ohio River, the Buckeye division when it comes to the BFLs. I'm not sure yet. Just depends. But that's where we're going. I'm really getting excited for that. That's starting up very soon. We have a trip planned to Lake St. Clair the second week in April. So there will be that. You guys will see it. We're going to call it It's called Chasing Bronze Trophies. Again, every year we go in April looking for that big 6-7 pound smallmouth. We're going a week earlier than we ever have, in hopes that we can catch those big fish before they get on the beds. You can go up to Lake St. Clair the third week of April on until about mid-May, and you could catch fish on beds, as many as you want, for as long as you want, as long as the water's clear and the water's calm enough so you can see them. I've had enough of that. Smallmouth are dumb when it comes to stuff in their bed. They will eat it. It's not like a largemouth where you sit there and have to work with the bass 100 times. It is not like that for smallmouth. They get ticked off quick, and you could throw something in their bed and you leave it there for more than a couple seconds, they're going to eat it, and you can catch fish all day, every day. But I'm done with that. It's not enjoyable for me anymore. I want to go out and catch these fish before they get on the bed. I want to throw crankbaits. I want to throw lipless crankbaits. I want to throw, swim baits and things and try to catch these fish roaming in these flats before they get locked on beds, because I feel like it's one, there's a little bit more sportsmanship when it comes to that stuff, and two, you have an opportunity to catch an absolute hammer. Yep, can't forget the females. Katie's right. Go out there and join your man. Yeah. So a lot of people don't know that Indian Lake was actually hand dug by humans, which is pretty cool. It's only about 8 foot deep in the deepest spot. There's tree stumps. There's, it's dangerous as heck, man. But I'm hoping the grass situation is under control by this year, because if not, man, it's just going to be nuts. I feel like 5-6 pounds wins the tournament there. No, Tina, that's not it. The trip is the weekend or the week after Memorial Day. We always leave on Memorial Day, go up and fish Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at Lake St. Clair, and then we come back and fish with Get Hook Charters. Scott Mowry, Chuck Dotson, we fish with them on Friday, Saturday, Sunday for walleye, and then come home. That is the trip. All right, here's what I want to do. Got about 8 minutes left in this hour. What I want you to do is drop a comment below your favorite place to fish within your area. I know some of you guys are close, some of you guys aren't. I want to know some decent lakes I can travel around to this summer and try to catch some fish. Again, you guys know that I'm from the most southern tip of Ohio, usually. Most of you guys do. But I fish the Ohio River, Grayson, Yatesville. I go to Rocky Fork several times a year. Paint Creek, I'm there a few times. I'm at Lake St. Clair at least 4 times a year, usually. I will be going to Lake Erie, but I'll be walleye fishing there. I probably will I'll have my bass boat there. So if we go out and limit out on walleye, I'll be going out looking for some smallmouth as long as the lake's flat. Maybe I can get Aaron Strickland to tell me where some of those big greenfish are at, because I'd like to catch those too, especially because you ain't got to run so far to catch them in Lake Erie. Alum Creek. That's awesome. Actually, I'm lying to you guys. I said that it was Lake Erie twice, and it is not. It is actually Grand Lake St. Mary's, Indian, then it goes to Lake St. Clair, or Lake Erie, sorry, and then the 4th tournament is actually at Alum Creek, Fred. It's really glad you said that. Misty says East Lynn. She loves East Lynn because, it's a really pretty lake, and she's got some fish out there. Madison Lake, London, Ohio. That's pretty cool. I'll have to check that one out. There we go. Lake Cumberland. Love that place. Going to be hopefully fishing the Shimano Owners Tournament here soon down there, usually in the spring. Seneca Lake outside of Cambridge, Ohio. So isn't that close to Cambridge? That's close to Rocky Fork and stuff, right? Am I mistaken when I said that? I'm pretty sure Cambridge is where Rocky Fork is close to. Maybe I am wrong. Don't know. I think that's where it's at, though. Salt Fork. Decent. Man, I tell you what, the river gets its share of crap thrown at it, and I think it's one of the worst fishers on the planet. But I fish it a ton because it's 5 minutes from my house. I can hook my boat up, especially in the springtime or in the fall when I get out of work at 3 o'clock. I can go hook up my boat and I can go fish a couple hours on the river. I could burn a ton of fuel on that thing. There are some decent fish on the river, but I'm with you. If I could go anywhere, it would definitely be away from those 2 spots. Southeast Ohio, hour and 20 east of Columbus. Man, I'm with you. I think that it's fun. You can go out there and catch them. It's just, I think with the Ohio River, breaking it down, is that you have to fish high percentage spots. If there's not any cover, you might as well forget it. If there's no grass, no timber, no barges, no bridge pillars, etc., it's really tough to catch bass. I do like fishing outside of the Greenup Pool. I like the Meldal Pool down there towards, like if you fish down towards Maysville, like White Oak, and I like Cabin Creek really well. I think that, you can't go without mentioning Kinnickinnick Creek and stuff down there. I think there's a lot better water there. And it's weird to me, living on the Greenup Pool on the Ohio River, you can go upriver from us, 2 pools, not even really 2. You can go into the Gallipolis Pool, and then above and beyond that to like St. Mary's Pool. Actually, I think that's 2 pools up. The next one would be like Belpre. And then above and beyond that is like St. Mary's and all that stuff. Those bodies of water get way better fishing. And even below us, again, Meldal Pool down around Maysville and down that way, you get more grass. And I don't know what it is about this area. And people claim it's like runoff from factories and stuff. Well, the sad thing is our factories are gone, guys. We don't have many on the Ohio River anymore. Is it, something that something that continually happens over years and years and years? Is this stuff that's in the water? Is it stuff that's in the soil? Is this stuff that's being released? Is it leaching through the soil? I don't know. But it looks way different on this pool than any other pool. And again, everybody's like, it's because of the industrialization of this area. And I'm sure that 100% of the time you were right back in probably the early 70s or even into the 90s. But you can go basically Gallipolis all the way down to the Greenup Dam, and there are very few things still on the river that could be discharging that stuff. So it's weird to me. Again, is it still, are we still looking at things like, you have the Canal River that runs into Gallipolis, which then comes into our pool. And then you have like, you hear a lot of horror stories like being one of the most nasty feeder creeks, being let's see, what is that river right there in Huntington? I can't think of it right now. Salt Fork. I'll have to check these places out. Will. So guys, we're at about that hour mark. So I want to thank you guys for joining in for this little bit of knowledge drop session. I have a couple of shows planned coming up soon. Again, I'm going to get Matt and Tim I'm going to try, if they would love to come on, I would love to have them from Tactical Bassin. It would be cool to have them on. I'm also going to contact the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, and I'm going to try to get somebody on the line here, and I want to ask them the questions that you guys out there have to want to ask them as well. Where does our money go when it comes to fishing licenses? Because they don't do crap for lakes around here. I did see that they dropped an absolute pile of trees in a local lake that I like to fish. No names. But that is free to them. It's free Christmas trees. I have not once in the entirety of my fishing career, which has been the better part of 35 years, have ever heard anybody in the DNR stocking stuff in lakes except for trout. Why is that? Trout die. I understand trout feed things like people, and you do willing sportsmen and you do all this other stuff. And I think trout's a great idea. It's a great deal because you can catch trout. However, if you catch a trout and you take it out of the water and you put it back in the water, 99% of the time that trout is going to die. It turns into fish food. I get that. However, why not put some of that back into bass? Why not put that back into bluegill, crappie, stock stuff that we can catch and eat, as opposed to trout that's going to die? They will die. It's not going to be it's not going to be if, it's going to be when they die. Either fish are going to eat them, people are going to catch them and eat them, which is the best, the best scenario, or they're going to die of natural causes when the water gets too hot. I just don't understand where our money goes, because I don't know. I did hear that they stocked a bunch of stripers in the Great Miami River. I think that's really cool. Guess what? Nobody cares. I don't think. stripers are cool. Can you catch stripers? Hey, amazing. Apparently, striper fishermen pay more money into the market than us bass fishermen do because they get thrown a bone more than we do. I don't get it. Come on, Strick. Jeez. Yeah, you sent me that thing so you would know. Anyway, so again, I'm going to try to get somebody that's high up in the Department of Natural Resources to get on here and buck up and answer some of these questions. By the way, guys, this American flag back here, it's weird because in the scene, it looks like it's crooked. Promise you it's not. It's weird. I guess my camera must be tilted a little bit. Anyway, so we are, again, at that magical hour mark. I'm going to hop off here. Appreciate you guys sticking around, listening to me blab for an hour about my thoughts and stuff. Again, I do have some new shows coming up very soon. Again, come out to the Tackle Box Open House for February 12th and 13th. That is a Saturday, Sunday. Again, I cannot tell you how low the price is going to be on NRX Plus, but here's what I'm going to tell you. I can guarantee you're never going to see another price like this on a brand new NRX Plus ever again. It's never going to happen. Again, he's got over 140 of them in stock. Guarantee you, I could put one in your hands for as low as you've ever seen them. It's no doubt. I can't tell you the price. I can't promote it. But I'm going to tell you, come out there and check it out. I am going to be working a couple shows for Shimano coming up soon. So if you are a dealer or something like that, you may see me around. I'm going to be working the Pittman Creek show here soon. The winter or the spring show. So we're going to be checking that one out. So I guess it's the winter show more than anything. But I'll be down there, so I'll see you guys if you're there. But we will see them. Let's see. Yeah, the Muskingum I hear is bad. There's a lot of catfish in Muskingum. And that's the thing, like Cole's like, I think there's enough of us to band together to really make something happen, man. Like if you light a fire under somebody ODNR's rear end and you keep hammering them, they're either going to lose their job or they're going to make something happen. Like, I don't feel like that there's anybody out there, and maybe I'm wrong, but I can imagine that bass fishermen probably amassed more than 50% of the people that buy fishing licenses in Ohio. That would be a very interesting number to know, is how many people, and I know they've done these things, they've done these surveys in the past because I've filled them out. How many people are buying those fishing licenses that strictly fish for bass? For me, I'm 95% a bass fisherman. I'll go out on the river and catch some fish. Matter of fact, there's a guy that I met through my show last weekend. He is on TikTok, got a huge following. His name is Slunger Cat. And I'm going to try to get with him this summer and try to make some fishing videos on his boat, trying to catch some giant catfish out of the Ohio River. That's cool to me. I like that. I think it's a really cool deal. But most people that are bass fishermen strictly fish for bass. And I would like to know how many of the total amount of fishing licenses that are sold out there that are just strictly bass fishermen. I guarantee it's a lot. But we never get anything thrown back to us. There's none. I don't know of anybody. And if they do stock a lake, it's fingerlings. It's like this big. Well, guess what? Probably, I would say off the top of my head, again, there's no way for me to know this, but I'm going to say that 50% of those things are getting eaten by other fish. So it's hard to say, man. Like, I just can't. There has to be something done. And I think, like I said, between WIDA and all of us that are all together, I feel like, in this area, we just get the shaft. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Now, first off, let me refrain from saying this. I feel like the stocking of trout is good. Again, it helps the bass population and stuff like that. There are places in our area that stock trout for wheeling sportsmen and youth, things like that, so they can catch these fish and have the ability to catch fish. I think that's a phenomenal idea. But I do believe that it's a waste of money to spend the money on these farm-raised trout that they're stocking one time a year, and 100% of these fish are dying. They do not stay native. If you don't catch them or nothing eats them, they don't get bigger and bigger and bigger. They die 100% of the time. They're all dead. So why spend the money? I don't get it. I would say you're right, man. So like I said, I'm going to try to reach out to somebody at the DNR at the state and try to get somebody on here. Maybe we can light a fire. Maybe not. Maybe they think Waller's a freaking rear end. But I would like to get some people on here, and I'd like to get. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody can break it down and say we spend X amount of dollars on this, and this, and I could be totally wrong. But I don't think so. I don't think that our tax dollars and our money for fishing license is being spent on those people that spend the money on those licenses. I just don't feel like it's the truth. Wow, man, I didn't know that. That's crazy, man. $1 billion. That's nuts. I agree. Like I said, I'm going to try to find somebody to hold their feet to the fire. My guess is nobody will show up, but we're going to try. Dude, I think so too. Me and my buddy Jared were talking about the other day, like the Florida strain. Pick one lake, man. Just pick one lake and try it. Worst that can happen is they don't survive. And you're like, oh, well, now they'll be like, listen here, Waller, you're wrong. We can't put that in there. If they can live in Chickamauga, they'll live here too. No doubt. And the thing about it is that the Florida strain bass get bigger in Chickamauga because of the colder weather, which is weird. It's stupid, but they need to do something. I agree. I think we should do it. So I'm going to reach out and see what I can do. Anyway, guys, hour, 6 minutes. Again, if you haven't went out to the Yolatech website and liked my video or not liked my video, comment on there. Video 13 is the best. I'd appreciate it. Share that thing out. See if you can get some of your followers, because I think mine's on a pay-to-play scale right now. Not a lot of people see my stuff, which sucks. But anyway, Instagram, Facebook, the TikTok for Yolatech is where you can go vote. You can vote all three deals. You can go, again, Instagram vote, which is one. Facebook vote, that's another one. And then TikTok, the only thing you got to do is type in there, video 13 is the best. And I would appreciate it. But if not, and you don't have social media, that's okay. And if you just don't feel like doing it, that's okay too. But I appreciate it. And we will see you guys next time. Again, next Tuesday live. You guys are going to see another video coming up this week. My goal is to do a live on Tuesday and a video at least one a week. I'm hoping to get out this weekend and do some fishing. It's supposed to be nice. So I'm going to go out, try to find some fish using my new graphs and try to catch them, and we're going to have some fun. So again, you guys know the routine. You guys can get out there and lean on them. We'll see you next time on Another Line.